sometimes obedience feels like failure.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Mike McCrary with the Church Multiplication Network, and welcome to another episode of Open Mic, where we get a chance to interview leaders, church planting leaders, and talk about developing leaders and multiplying the church. I have the privilege of being with Chris and Hannah Bechtel today. They are the founding pastors of SEGO Church in South Jordan, Utah. Is that right?
Yes.
And we're looking forward to getting to know them a little bit. So, hey, SEGO Church, where did the name come from?
I love that question. So the SEGO lily is the Utah state flower, and the Ute Indians introduced it to the people that settled here, but they found that the bulb of the SEGO lily would last them through the winter. It was a survival technique. It would feed them. They could boil it and eat it. And so it became this survival technique for them, became important to the state. But also in the Bible, when Jesus is referred to as the lily of the valley and the essence of purity and vibrancy and sustained life. So we loved the biblical meaning and also the meaning that it has for the state.
Take us all the way back, because you were on staff at a really well-loved church, Rob Ketterling and the family of River Valley. What a wonderful church. Yeah. And you guys were some of the campus pastors, in fact, of one of the largest campuses that was there. And I know that you guys, it was a big faith step to come off of that. But tell us the origin story of that.
Yeah, it was the back end of a sabbatical, and I felt like I had this moment with the Lord where the Lord essentially almost like I gotcha, but not in a you're in trouble way, but more like a Chris, there's more in you. And I loved my job, but just knew that I could do this for the rest of my life and be really content, but I wouldn't be obedient to what God put in my heart in terms of stepping out. And so told Pastor Rob that in January, and he's like, okay, I want to journey with you. I want to help you discover what that next step is. Cause we really didn't know. We didn't know it was going to be church planting. So we got to the end of, or first part of August, and we still didn't know it was Utah.
That was a courageous conversation for you to initiate. Yeah. And also a very secure response from Rob.
Oh yeah. I think Pastor Rob did a great job of creating an environment with his pastors that everything can be put on the table. Nothing's off limits in terms of discussion. So I felt safe, even though it was a hard thing for me to share, because I loved my job and I loved him. But I knew he treats his staff like a father. And I think that's maybe one switch that not a lot of lead pastors have, is like, I'm going to not only pastor my staff, but I'm going to father my staff and treat them like my own. And so I felt safe enough to go there with him. And then we decided we were going to transition to Utah. And he's like, I'll give you guys 6 months full pay, 1 year of insurance, which again, as a church planner, when you have nothing, to have a paycheck for 6 months and then insurance after that was a game changer for us. So we felt so blessed and supported and safe. Even today, like we can have any conversation we need to have with him, and just, we know that he's game for it.
That's incredible. So why Utah? Why come here? For people that don't know, Utah is the least evangelical state of the entire United States.
Yeah.
And so this is an incredible mission field. It's an incredible opportunity. But I'd have to say, not a lot of people are signing up. So tell me why.
Yeah. Well, so I moved to Utah in high school. And so the Lord had planted a deep love for Utah that I wasn't really fully aware of until I had gone to college. We met in North Central University. We were there for 20 years, but I had come back for a funeral of a good friend. And as I was leaving Salt Lake City, flying over the mountains, I began weeping. And it was then that the Lord was like, this is home. It's Utah. And somewhere in our heart, God had buried a love for a state that we weren't even fully aware of until he revealed it in that moment. And then just the need that presented itself in the area that we felt the Lord leading us to was undeniable. There needed to be more life-giving churches in this area. And so it was an easy decision after we said it out loud.
So 2020, you launched the church. Yeah. You launched in a portable setting. Yeah. You're still portable today. Talk to the church planter. What's some of the best parts of church planting?
My mind goes to people, because We all have aspirations to grow a big and successful church and match the community. And so I think for us, we have currently 2 couples on staff that they are first generation Christians. Just to see their journey and how they've embraced Jesus, going from like deer in the headlights in service to like raising hands, worshiping, leading their families in times of prayer and fasting during our prayer and fasting series, just the spiritual disciplines and the growth in their life. And to see a vision and then establish a culture that is all kingdom minded, but to see someone latch onto it to a level where like 3 years later, now they're on staff and they're helping lead the way for others. Seeing that happen with key families has been such a blessing. One of the sweetest parts of church planting.
There's nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
There's nothing like it. Hannah, what about you?
Your yes is a domino for other yeses. And that's so special to be a part of, for other people to step into something because you've stepped into something.
But sometimes we have the joy of building, the joy of seeing people change, the joy of taking new ground.
Yeah.
But we feel like we're hitting our heads against a brick wall.
Yeah.
What would you say to church planters or church multipliers that feel like they're failing?
Yeah. I think a phrase that I've learned to embrace is this: sometimes obedience feels like failure. Sometimes your yes to what God has asked you to do, it doesn't look successful. And I would say that that's extremely biblical. Like there's a lot of biblical stories that feel like, okay, that didn't work out very good, or there's persecution, or there's struggle, or there's hardship, but yet their yes was obedience, and that was exactly what God wanted. So I'd say for us, we've discovered, coming from a mega church where it seems like everything works, and even if it doesn't work, it has the appearance like it kind of it took place and the event happened, but success is found in obedience. Just doing what God has said. Just do what God says. And the results are up to him, and we want great results, but sometimes it's just being faithful with what God has asked you and being okay with that. It's going to be a little gritty and at times a little awkward, and that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say to really clarify what failure, like if someone feels like a failure, what is failure? What have they defined that, and who has defined that? That's really important, because there are times where I felt like a failure and I've taken it to the Lord, and he said, well, yeah, because I didn't ask you to do that. So yes, I am not blessing that because you've stepped out in an area that I didn't ask you to. It can be a roller coaster
100%.
with planting or multiplying. And so the Lord has to anchor that, and being okay with the Lord checking you sometimes, I think, is really, really valuable in this line of work. And sometimes that can lead us to the right spot to let the Lord redefine those things for us.
What I love about what you're saying is you're reframing failure to answer the question, what am I learning from the Lord?
Yeah.
So what are some of the lessons that you're currently learning? Like what's in your mind? What are you thinking about?
Yeah. I think I've learned that planning a church it's a marathon, not a sprint. And you can't get ahead of yourself. You gotta be mindful of your pace. You gotta be mindful of self-care and taking care of yourself as you are running this race.
Having good rhythms, probably personally.
100%. And so you're always trying to figure out how what's the right rhythm to live in. And so I think sustainability is a big deal for church planners. And we want to have the right pace and the right rhythm so that we can be in it for the long haul, not just for the next few years, but like for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. And I would say one of the biggest lessons is humility. Humility paves the road to success.
That's good.
Because God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble.
Think about that. God opposing the proud. That's some strong language.
But if I can remain humble in the posture of learning, God's going to continue gracing me to do the thing. And then I just keep learning how to be humble through the process. So it's gotten easier. As you learn humility, it gets easier. God doesn't have to bring me down. My starting posture can be humility, and then I'm graced to go farther. God's going to work it out. And that if I can move forward in faith, not the fear of failure, He's going to provide, and he's going to produce something that I can't in my own understanding and own working.
Amen. That's incredible.
Amen.
Well, as we get ready to wrap up here, I want you to imagine there's a church planting couple that's getting ready to launch their church. So They haven't found a location yet.
Okay.
They've got the blessing of somebody. They've got the calling. They're both on the same page.
Yeah.
What would be your encouraging message to leave with them?
When I think about church planting, it's like having a child, very unprepared. Like you can read all the books and you can get all the training, but I would encourage them just to go for it. And if God has called you, just like with Abraham, if God says go, then you have to go. It's a responsive obedience. And God's going to fill in all the details and all the cracks for our deficiencies. But doing what God has asked you to do is the most important thing.
I would say to this couple to hold on to the calling.
Mm-hmm.
Just hold on to the conviction of the calling. And as you follow that conviction, it will look different than what you've maybe envisioned outside of that. But as you follow the calling, what God produces is beyond what you could ask, dream, or imagine. So hold on to that with everything you've got. And when you do that, He makes things happen. It's so worth it.
Well, I'd like to thank Chris and Hannah for being on Open Mic today and being on and sharing their hearts, sharing their encouragement, struggles. And thank you so much. I know CMN has meant a lot to you guys. We like to say at CMN, it's easy to get in and hard to get out. We do believe everybody's family. We're here to support you. So thanks for adding value to our network today. Thank you. If you are interested in church planting training or multiplying your church, you can visit us on the web at churchmultiplication.net. You can find a training near you. Come see us at conference, and we'll see you next time. God bless.